All right, baby, we're live. We'll let it breathe just for a moment to bring on Facebook. And hopefully it starts up no problemo for us tonight. Looks like it should be all right. We got a game going tonight, too. That's always fun during the podcast. Welcome in, everybody. It's the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, is it pretty much a given Ben Powers will be back this week?
I don't know. We talked about that last week. We were split on it personally, Chad. I tend to believe they're not going to
You were
fix what
right.
isn't.
By the way, you ended up being right about it.
I figured they're not going to. Whoa, Michaela, they're not going to fix what isn't broken. And I don't know. Just to wrap my thoughts up before we get to the Duchess real quickly, that they're going to change up anything this week. Palcho is working right now at left guard.
Yeah. Whoa. All right. We can't keep you waiting when you're jumping off the top rope at here's what's really
thank you so much.
Really unique about this level of support from the Duchess. This is not the first time she's thrown down a YouTube Super Max super chat. You can't donate through YouTube higher than this number right here. And it boggles the mind how generous and how supportive. And I hope you know, Michaela, how much it helps us and allows us to continue doing what we do and bringing more and more new stuff to the table. And just, I don't ever want a moment to go by where you don't feel our gratitude and love for your level of support and for your friendship and just everything you bring to MHH. So before we even, Zack, read Michaela's comments and stuff, much love and respect to the Duchess.
Yeah, you blow us away. You have me stuttering. You have Chad speechless. It's not the first time, Michaela. It's like the 50th time. I've said it to your face at the meet and greet. I've said it on the podcast. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Chad's heart, Scott's heart, everyone. You help keep this operation afloat. Thank you so much.
There is no doubt about it, and we love you. Thank you so much, Michaela. She says, Broncos quarterback Bo Nix named FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Week following the win over the Packers. So happy for him. I keep on hearing rumors that J.K. Dobbins might be able to come back for the playoffs. Truth? I am still panicking about it, the game against the Jaguars. Is Ben Powers going to be able to play in this game? I love you guys, truly.
Thank you.
We love you too. So much, so much. Yeah. And to reverse engineer this comment and the question, Zack, I do think this is when he comes back this week. I know I was like, I'll be surprised if he doesn't come back last week. But when they just waived Calvin Throckmorton off the 53, it's like they're making preparations, like they have a plan, and they have 15 players plus their international designation guy, Patrick Murtaugh, on the practice squad. So there's a spot waiting for Throckmorton. As soon as he clears waivers, he'll be back on the practice squad. So I do think Powers comes back. Now, you got to wonder, is he coming back to a full meal, so to speak? Is he going to be getting full reps? I would guess that, because that's kind of, hey, just throw him in and let him do his thing. But J.K. Dobbins, Zack, what have you heard about that?
Well, you're right about Throckmorton, but that also gave me pause because they signed Nash Jones to the practice squad. We wrote about that today for the website, former Chargers guard. So it's take a guard, leave a guard. I don't know. It's up in the air with Ben Powers right now, Michaela. I still think Palcho will hold on to the spot, but we'll see on Sunday. In terms of Dobbins, that's always been the scuttlebutt. Even when news of his injury first came out, they said if the Broncos did reach deep into the postseason or the Super Bowl, he could potentially be back. So fingers crossed, because they still, as good as RJ Harvey has looked, they still do miss J.K. Dobbins.
Okay, I'm just making sure my math was right in my article. I'm like, man, because I forgot about Nash, dude. So for a second, I'm like, oh, snap. Did I get my math wrong in the official On SI article and look like a chump? No, I was good. All right, cool. But hey, the last time Sean Payton addressed the Dobbins question publicly was only like a week and a half ago. I want to say it was right after the Commanders game, or it might have been the Raiders. Either way, he said, Zack, to paraphrase him, that JK is very likely to be back a lot sooner than people think. All right. To me, that means playoffs, not Super Bowl, because, who was it? Was it Schefter? It might have been Rappaport in the immediate aftermath of Dobbins' injury, saying, hey, if the Broncos make it all the way to the big dance, they'll see him again. But I think if they win the 1 seed and Zach, they get the first round bye and home field advantage, there's a decent chance that JK could be there for that divisional round game.
Yeah, I've learned to take Sean Payton's optimism on injuries with a grain of salt ever since the Dre Greenlaw debacle. I do think at some point, though, Dobbins' injury he'll be able to return from. And wouldn't it be great if they're hosting the Patriots, let's say, for the AFC Championship game, and then out comes J.K. Dobbins to start at running back? What a story that would be.
No doubt about it. M. Blacks, brother, it is so good to see you. Thank you for the membership, gifting a membership in the chat tonight. And also thank you, brother, for helping out as a admin and moderator on the brand spanking new MHH Discord server. Guys, if you're in this room and you have not joined the free server, the Discord server where I'm hanging out, where Zach's hanging out, where MBlex is hanging out, you got to jump on that, guys. We just launched it, whatever it was it Monday, Sunday or Monday? Either way, it's only a few days old. And we need you guys over there. Come join us. Links in the description. Sam Bam, brother, good to see you. Thank you so much. One of our dear members and bona fide superstars saying, evening, guys. Let's make it 12 in a row, 13-2 this Sunday. I hate it. And I'm in the fantasy semifinals and playing against Bo this week. I have Will Lutz, so hoping for a Broncos win and lots of field goals. Go Broncos. Yeah, that's always tough, Zach. That's why I don't really lament not playing fantasy anymore, as those, split allegiances. But yeah, isn't it crazy though? Think about this, Sam. 12 in a row is on the table. Are you kidding me, dude? 12 in a row. Like, it's getting to a point where I think some fans, and you got to guard against this, guys. I'm telling you right now, where it's almost becoming like, blasé. Broncos are on a freaking 11-game winning streak. Guys, this happens like maybe once every 10 years if a team's lucky. This big of a win streak. So I hope everybody's savoring it because this is special.
Yeah, Sam, it's pretty funny. If you've been playing fantasy long enough, the last decade, they haven't had many players that were fantasy relevant. And now Bo Nix is a top 10 easy fantasy quarterback. Courtland Sutton's a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. RJ Harvey's a running back 2. So I understand what you're talking about. I'm actually playing Michaela Parker in the consolation bracket this week, and she has like every single Eagle starter. So that should be interesting as well. Good luck to the both of us this weekend, Sam, and thank you for your support.
I say good luck, Michaela. Go, Michaela. Go, Michaela. Take down Zach.
Probably will happen too. It's probably going to happen.
Anyway, love it. I'm stoked. Who from the MHH? Who's leading in the MHH? I know you said you guys are in the consolation bracket.
Yeah.
But who's leading the way?
Oh, I don't have it pulled up. I know Chase Wellner was in it, near the top. Lamb Neasy. I don't know if you recognize that name.
Yeah.
From one of the super chat.
Yeah.
Community. Yeah. So they're near the top. They're killing it.
We got Eric Holt, I want to say, but it's showing the handle instead of his name. So I'm taking a guess. So I'll just play it safe and say 97 E Holt in the hizzy, but I'm pretty sure we know who this is. Much love and respect, big dog. Thank you. Says, with Brandon Jones out, would it be a good time to call Justin Simmons to see if he can offer any depth or meaningful snaps for a Super Bowl run? Let's talk about it. Go Broncos. Zach, it's been a pretty hot topic all week long around the Mile High City. Do you bring back Justin Simmons? Now, on one hand, Zach, I'm going to say, look, I don't expect it to happen. I'll use one of your phrases, which is, well, I won't even use the phrase. I'll just say it. Broncos usually don't bring back former players. Like once that is an X kind of situation, it usually stays an X, although there are rare examples. Lil Jordan Humphrey, for example, is one. However, that wasn't the Broncos moving on from Lil Jordan. That was Lil Jordan taking more money in free agency from the Giants at the time, which is why he left. Whereas, Zach, they released Justin Simmons a year ago or whatever it's been, a year and a half ago. But the point being, I would actually love to see it. I think it makes a ton of sense. Do I expect it to happen? I do not, Zach.
Yeah, E-Holt, we talked about this on Tuesday's episode of Kelberman's Corner. So if you're not a member yet, please be sure to subscribe so you can see that episode. I laid out my reasons why the Broncos should not pursue Simmons. Chad mentioned one of them, X's are X's for a reason. I think Sean Payton and George Payton also abide by that philosophy. Number two, his play on the field. He's a great locker room guy. Don't get me wrong. Great human being. But his play on the field, his last couple years in Denver, his year with Atlanta was not good. People still think of him as the 2016, 2017 Simmons. He's not that anymore. And also, you're talking about a guy through little fault of his own, Chad, who didn't really win squat in Denver. The Broncos have learned to do nothing but win under Sean Payton. Do you want to take that sort of, I guess, negative juju and insert it into the locker room now? I don't.
All fair points. I would just, for how much you can count on one hand the number of guys that thrived and excelled and led individually amid the Broncos wandering of the desert post Super Bowl 50. Simmons is one of them, representing the team well, year in, year out, accolades, et cetera, and being a great leader. Bowles, Sutton. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody, you think, Zach, that stayed throughout that up until at least at 1 year of the Sean Payton regime? I would love to see him get a little bit of reward for all that long suffering. But again, I really don't think that the Denver Broncos are thinking that away. Lots more to get to tonight, guys. Believe that we are just getting started tonight. But listen up, guys. Football, it rages on, full swing. We love it. Underdog, it's the best place to get in on all that action. You got to get off the bench and into the game. Head over to Underdog. And guys, it's not just football, whether you're into basketball, hockey, any sport in between. Underdog is the best place to get in on that action, and it's all season long.
That's right. Playing an Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your picks correct, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash.
Guys, it's so much fun playing Underdog, watching football, the opportunity to win money while you're doing one of your favorite things, watching football. It's a touchdown. So download the Underdog app today, sign up with our promo code MHuddle, and you will score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next?
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right, guys, back to the chat. We have the Papa Bear checking in on Super Chat. Great to see you, David. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And Merry Christmas right back at you. He's saying, Merry Christmas, Broncos country. Hashtag 14-3. Oh, this has changed, Zach. He's doing the math. He's going, wait a minute. We're running out of runway to keep with the whole 13-4 thing that's been. I'm upgrading things. We're going 14-3 plus. We all know what the pluses mean. And guys, thank you for this, Mr. Producer. To kind of rewind for a second, and it kind of ties into what Papa Bear's done here, kind of amending his score, or his record, I should say. And that is, think about this. All right, the Broncos in the last 25, 30 years of football, they've got 3 notable winning streaks, right? You had the 98 team get 13 in a row. You had the 2012 team get 11. And this team, 2025, has 11. Now, think about this. Scott, long-suffering Falcons guy. The Falcons' longest winning streak in franchise history ever is 11 games. That spanned, by the way, both regular season and playoffs. It's only happened once. Then you think back to all those prolific years that Sean Payton had with the New Orleans Saints. Their longest winning streak in team history, New Orleans, was 13 games, achieved in 2009. That was the season that they won the Super Bowl. Saints started 13-0 before losing to the Cowboys week 14. So that's interesting, Zach. But again, to me, it's just more, hey, guys, time flies. That's just the nature of it. You get out of high school and all of a sudden just time telescopes on you. And for me, Zach, it especially starts flying when we get to the football season. But even though time may be kind of feeling like it's going really fast, again, my advice, guys, try and pump the brakes and smell the roses, because this is a historic run this team is on. And typically, I mean, at least in Bronco canon, Zach, if you look at the winning streaks, didn't work out well for the 2012 Broncos. They had that shocking defeat in the divisional round to the Ravens, but the preceding 13-game streak ended in Super Bowl 33. So keep that in mind.
Merry Christmas to you and yours, David. Thank you so much for your support all year, and especially around the holiday season like now. You are instrumental to our community, and it's tough to find 2 more losses on the Broncos schedule with how they're playing right now. I mean, maybe in week 18, they could be resting their starters in a best case scenario, but I agree with what David there did, 14-3. I think that's how they're going to finish the season.
Most teams don't get 10-plus game winning streaks every 10 years. The Broncos are a unique organization in that respect. Drew, good to see you, big dog. Hope you're doing well. He says, huge Bronco fan in Chicago here. And it was amazing having all my family, who are, of course, Bears fans, wearing my Bronco gear this past Sunday. Also, yeah, right, going against the Packers. Has no one noticed Bo Nix is 9-1 versus the NFC? I'm trying to think who was the one NFC loss, Zach. I'm sure it was
Seattle.
That's right. That's right. He goes on to say, gonna be our Super Bowl. I'm not sure what you mean by gonna be our Super Bowl, Zach. What do you think he means by that?
I don't know. Maybe our Super Bowl year, the Broncos are going to make it back to the big game. And you know what? They have their best record through 14 games since 98 when they won the Super Bowl. So everything right now, Chad, they're being favored on prediction markets and betting markets to win the AFC Championship. So right now they're favored to make the game, let alone win the Super Bowl. But yeah, Bo's playing extremely well. He joined in a very exclusive list with his touchdown passes, passing yards, and wins through 2 seasons. It's Bo Nix and Dan Marino. No one notices, no one pays attention, but we know, we pay attention.
Isn't that wild? Don Olmstead, good to see you, big dog, a dear member and a bona fide superstar, saying, good evening, Zach and Chad. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Right back at you, pal.
Yep.
If Ben Powers is ready, he plays, I suspect. I wonder if VJ sprinkles Jahdae Barron in tactical safety sets on Sunday as well. Thank you for the knowledge. Yeah, that's an interesting option. I don't know how much they want to put on his plate. Sean Payton has remained adamant throughout since he was drafted, Barron that is, that our vision for him, yeah, we know he can play safety, but our vision for him is corner, nickel, and corner. And so far they stayed true to that, Zach, but they have, necessity is the mother of invention. Right. And so far, this is the first situation at safety since Barron was drafted where necessity might require doing something a little bit novel and different. But when you have a guy like PJ Locke, that's going to be their first go-to, obviously, because he was their trusted starter last year, but he played through what we learned later, brutally gnarly back pain, plus some different injuries during last season. There was a reason why he was selected as the Ed Block Courage Award winner 2024, which, by the way, Alex Singleton got it this year for obvious reasons. So I don't know. I don't expect to see it change really other than PJ Locke replacing Jones, but I wouldn't be shocked, Zach.
That was the scuttlebutt for Barron coming out of college, even before the Broncos drafted him, that he can really star at safety in the NFL. And just because the Broncos want to keep him at cornerback doesn't mean he can't play safety and play it well. I do expect, Don, and thank you for the super first and foremost. Happy holidays to you and yours. I do expect VJ to, like you said, sprinkle in, kind of test out, ease Barron into some safety sets while leaning on PJ Locke. I can't express enough to you guys how comfortable the coaching staff is with PJ Locke stepping up as a starter for Brandon Jones. We might not be the biggest fans of PJ, but the coaching staff loves him.
They really do. They really do. And there was a reason they paid him. I mean, it wasn't a huge contract, 2 years, $7 million. And I mean, based on how PJ Locke played before the back stuff in 2023, when he was filling in for Kareem Jackson, like, it was exciting times for him to get an opportunity to be the guy, but injury explained in retrospect. We didn't know really, Zach. We just figured, well, he wasn't meant to be a starter guy. He's better as that third guy onto the field. But it turned out he was very badly injured last year. So I'm really curious to see how he plays now that he's healthy. And according to Brandon Jones, who he's replacing, an inch taller because of the back surgery he had last January.
I mentioned this too on KK about Simmons. I know this is very best case scenario optimistic, but it doesn't matter that much who you have at safety if the quarterback you're facing is constantly on the run, constantly on his back, constantly being harassed. So what I mean by that is they can weather losing Brandon Jones if everyone up front, Nick Benito, Zach Allen, Jonathan Cooper, JFM, they're all doing their job and getting after the quarterback. And that's what I expect to happen against Trevor Lawrence on Sunday.
Amen. Amen to that. And Don, thank you again, big dog. It's really good to see you tonight, my brother. Real quick, Scott, I think I skipped him on accident, but I guess that's why we have the starred Ralph, the brace girdle, the father of the brace girdle clan in the hizzy, saying, my priests, it looks like RJ, Harvey, and Bryant are a go this Sunday. Any word on Powers? Well, no official word yet on Powers in terms of the move, but they did waive an offensive guard off the 53 today, Calvin Throckmorton, which is an obvious move to make room for Ben Powers. So I will be shocked this time. Last time I was like, I'm expecting it last week, the Broncos to bring him back this week as soon as the previous game. But I'd be stunned now, Zach, if they don't bring him back, considering that they opened up that roster spot.
Yeah, Pat Bryant looks like he's going to play, Ralph. And also RJ, thank God his ribs injury wasn't more significant coming out of the Packers game. He was a full go, and he'll be playing on Sunday, barring any setbacks. And I'm very happy that we don't have to rely on Tyler Bidet getting any more snaps than necessary.
And this is a tough matchup. I mean, hey, if you need your highly paid left guard for any game on the schedule this year, it's this one. Jaguars, we're going to go through it here in a little bit, the full head-to-head, but this is the number one rushing defense, Zach.
Yep.
15 weeks into the NFL season, so Broncos need as many of their horses as they can get.
And Sean Payton remarked about that yesterday, how good the Jaguars' run defense is playing this year, and they can use all of their running backs on Sunday. They're going to need everyone from RJ to Bidet to McLaughlin to step up against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't expect to see Cody Schrader this week, Zach. Do you think they'll dress him, or do you think he'll be a healthy scratch?
I think he'll be a scratch. I think that was insurance against RJ. If RJ would have been out this week, then Schrader would have been up.
Shannon Mills in the hizzy. Great to see one of our superstars and dear members in the house saying, good evening, got in here late tonight. Better late than never, my friend. How do you think the run game will fare against the Jags D? That's a great question. And I didn't realize that was your topic, or I would have saved the whole anecdote observation about them being number one. But it does give me, Zach, some courage and confidence with Ben Powers expected to return for Sunday's game. And I mean, guys, he had kind of up to this point, up till this season in his tenure, 2 years as a Bronco, I kind of felt like Ben Powers was a little bit of a disappointment relative to his contract. Not that he sucked by any stretch, but just relative to that contract, I was kind of hoping for Pro Bowl caliber impact. And he has basically given you about NFL average at left guard. But this year, Zach, he was in the midst of his best year as a Bronco before he tore that bicep against the Eagles week 5. So I'm cautiously optimistic that his return, even against this tough Jaguars rushing defense, Zach, will be a nice little boost for the ground game.
I think they're going to fare decently well, Shannon. Thank you so much for the super, number one. They're going to fare decently well if they just stay committed to the ground game. It's exactly what Sean Payton did after Harvey fumbled last week. He didn't go away from the run. He kept giving Harvey the rock, and it paid off. But you know what gives me confidence? Number 10. Throwing 4 touchdowns for a big win against a really good defense in the Packers. So even if the running game goes haywire on Sunday and they have to lean on Bo against Jacksonville, so be it. I think they can win the game.
Thank you again, Shannon. We really appreciate you, and it's awesome to see you tonight. Guys, listen up. We are 1 week away from the big day, from Christmas, holidays. I hope you've already found the perfect gift, and if not, you do still have a little bit of time left. But keep in mind, not every deal is actually what it seems. Scammers are getting more and more creative, tricking people into sharing their payment info through methods like, you got to watch for this, fake shopping sites, fake giveaways that are too good to be true. But luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual activity. Should someone gain access to your card, then you can act fast if something seems off. You can also lock or unlock your Cash App card instantly right in the app for extra control and peace of mind. So stay one step ahead of the scams this season and keep your money secure with Cash App.
And for a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
All right, guys, the time has come. Get your questions, any other additional supers. Well, should we grab Sam Bam? Let's grab Sam Bam, then we'll do the head-to-head real quick. Sam, brother, thank you for diving in again. I'm trying to scope his profile pic. I can't quite make it out, Zach. Can you see what that is?
Oh, I'm way too blind for that.
You'll have to tell us, Sam. Thank you for that generous second super chat tonight, big dog. He says, also, here's another $50 for how awesome I'm sure it has been for you two, Scott, and all those associated MHH, that you get to cover a Broncos team that is legitimately competing for a Super Bowl. You've been podcasting together since 2016, right? What was it, Zach? 18, you and I? Yeah. So
it was like March of 2018, right before free agency. That's how I remember it.
I'll give you real quick, Sam, the Cliff Notes version of how we came together. So MHH, I started that back in 2014. And then in 2018, right at the beginning of that year, the network that MHH was on got purchased by CBS Sports. And that put us together with the 24/7 Sports people, which is who Zach worked for at the time. That's how Zach and I met. And they basically merged us together. They said, Chad, you're going to continue doing Mile High Huddle here, but you're going to have a helper in our guy who's an employee named Zach that's going to keep helping you covering Broncos news. Try to get along. And a lot of the people in my shoes, the publishers with different teams, they didn't get along with their guy. Zach and I, we hit it off right out of the gates. And I think a big reason for that was I was like, hey, Zach, and it worked out this way. I won't get into all the past stuff, but I just so happened to need a new podcast partner. Zach, you want to join me, and me and you will do this thing? And he's like, yeah, dude, I've always wanted to do a podcast. And so we did it as a audio upload only, right, on demand for about a year and a half together until we had the bright idea to do our Mile High Mailbag segment as a live stream on YouTube, and the rest is history. So that was 2019, Zach, the first time we did it as a live stream, and then we just always did it as a live stream from then on out.
And here we are all those years later. It's been an absolute pleasure being your podcast partner, Chad. We've done a lot together, on camera, obviously, with the podcast, doing work at the combine and the draft, off camera together. It's been a blast, been a journey, and a lot more still yet to come. Thank you so much for that, Sam. Chad was doing content before 2016. I was doing content during 2016, 2017 on Facebook Lives, and then Chad and I got together, but it's been a dream since then, especially since, like you said, getting to cover a competitive team. I got on the beat right after they won the Super Bowl, and it was nothing but dreariness, nothing but depression, and that's why we say around these parts, God bless Bo Nix.
Yeah, that's why last year, I mean, it felt good. I was happy for everybody, to be honest, but I was especially stoked for Zach because it was the first. I mean, he covered a winning season technically in 2016 when the Broncos went 9-7 in the last Kubiak year, but not a playoff season. Not a playoff season. So he got the playoffs last year. This year, let's hope it's even more than that. It's the plus, like Papa Bear puts in his super chats. But yeah, I mean, like Isaiah, what is it? Isaiah Rico, man, some of the handles I don't recognize relative to the name. So I'm sorry if I'm not connecting that. But he said that's when I subbed. Goes, Mile High Huddle has grown. Yes, it has. It absolutely has.
Because of you guys.
Exactly, guys. We keep showing up because you guys support us, and it's reciprocal. It's symbiotic, right? It just together we keep this thing snowballing, and our goal right now is to cross 40K subs, which we're about, I don't know, like 2,400 away from crossing 40. Then the next goal will be 50. And then the next goal, we'll set it at 75, try and get to 100 though at some point. And they're out there, Zach. We know that. I mean, if you go to the Denver Broncos Facebook page, I think they're just under 4 million followers on Facebook. So the fans are out there. That's why when we say, hey guys, share this on your social media, help us grow and reach the new and like-minded Broncos fans just like you, because they're out there.
Yeah, I have no doubt about it. You guys are going to help us reach those milestones. And again, it's all because of you that we do this. So thank you all so much. And we're so excited for what's yet to come, because the best is yet to come.
And one last thing I want to say on this is that we had a blast. There was a reason we were doing this in the first place. The reason I started the site, the reason Zach and I teamed up on the podcast. I mean, we're crazy about what we do, but it reached a critical mass and exploded up through multiple levels, guys. When we started doing it as live streams, 6-7 years ago, whatever it's been, 6 years ago. And that's because of you guys. So once again, I'm not crediting Zach or myself. I'm crediting you guys, because we didn't even realize, seriously, we were just doing the upload every day. And we're like, we didn't even think about it. I can't remember how, Zach, we got the idea to do the mailbag one time, but all it took was us doing it one time and going, man, the ability, because at the time, I think we were at like 2,000 subscribers on YouTube at the time.
Yeah.
And just to be able to interact with people in real time, answering questions in real time, that was so addictive. And then I think the very first super chat we ever got was from Zeus, from Stu McPeak. And they had to explain to us in the chat what a super chat was. We're like, oh, it's like colored. This one is like red instead of the other ones. So a lot of water has passed under the bridge since then. But guys, good times. And thank you for bringing that up, Sam Bam, allowing us to reminisce a little bit.
And that was also when we were like this close to the camera, podcast freaking everybody out. But I can confidently get it off.
Oh, wait. I screwed it up. There we go.
I can confidently tell you, I'll speak for Chad as well, I have not worked a day since 2016, and that's all because of you guys. So thank you all for your support, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season and beyond.
All right, guys. Wait, let me check on Mr. Producer. Oh, that's Broncos fan for life. Thank you. Okay, good. Good to know. Great to see you, pal. Thank you for being a member. All right, guys, the time has come for the head-to-head.
Ooh, Pearl.
Wait, what?
Pearl's so happy right now, Chad. She loves this part.
Okay, yes, indeed. That's true. She loves the head-to-head comparison, and it is fun to see. Like, let's break it down. All right, green, top 10, red, bottom 10. If it's a black, in somewhere in the middle of the pack. And as you can see, these are two teams that are forces to be reckoned with in the conference. The Broncos 12-2. The Jaguars are arguably, Zach, an even bigger surprise this year as a 10-4 team, because at least the Broncos, I mean, no one saw the winning streak, but after they went to the playoffs last year, I think everyone was pretty much expecting at least them to compete for the playoffs this year, but not too many people saw the Jags being a 10 double-digit win team. So credit to them, credit to Liam Cohen. Trevor Lawrence has picked up steam. I mean, what did he have last week, Zach? 6 total touchdowns. And this defense, as you guys are going to see, is no joke. So let's take a look here. The Broncos in the turnover margin, they're improving because there were no – actually, that's not true. They did have the one turnover last week, Zach, with the RJ fumble, but they offset that with 2 takeaways, so that moved them up by 1 takeaway in the margin. Whereas you look over here, the Jags, they are plus 10, guys. That's tied for 3rd. So that means they've taken the ball away 10 times more than they've given it away. And that's a huge metric, something Sean Payton, in fact, emphasized at the podium yesterday. Time of possession, they're even better than the Broncos, who've really gotten better in this respect the last quarter of the season. But when you look at the Jags, man, they're 8th in time of possession. So they know what they're doing. Offensively, yardage-wise, they're about middle of the pack. But in points and scoring, they're 8th. They're scoring 27 points per game compared to the Broncos at 24 and some change. We'll just still say it's 24. Rushing, Zach, offensively, they're middle of the pack. Same with their passing offense. And they have been picked off 11 times, which is twice more than the Broncos. But they've only had 5 lost fumbles, which ties them with the Broncos for the 9th fewest. 16 total giveaways, which is actually 2 more than the Broncos. So you're going, wait a minute. we'll get to this, but then how are they plus 10? You're going to see that here shortly. Sacks, they've been sacked 32 times, nearly double what Bo Nix has been sacked. Here's the hole in the boat, Zach. They suck on third down, and they're not great in the red zone. They're good, and they've gotten better, actually, but they're not great. Meanwhile, real quick, Broncos are 11th in yards. They're 12th in points. And let's not forget, last season, the Broncos did finish top 10 in scoring. Literally, they were 10th. So they've got a little ground to make up if they want to improve on what they did last year. But this is the 17th ranked rushing offense, the Broncos, 11th passing offense. And total giveaways, 14. That's 2 better than the Jags. Only 17 sacks. And third down, they're improving here, Zach. They're 12th and a top 10 red zone offense. So before we get to this defensive comparison, your thoughts here on these two offenses?
For the Broncos, I'm happy that we're seeing green finally. We just talked about all those bad Broncos teams of the decade past. So many times they were red in third down percentage, red in red zone, red in scoring under Hackett. They were averaging, 15 points a game, Chad? So hats off to Bo Nix and Sean Payton. I'll say this briefly about the Jaguars, and this thought can kind of apply overall with their offense and their defense. Great job so far this season. They've surprised a lot of people. For a first-year head coach and Liam Cohen, done an amazing job. But they're getting a little too big for their britches, Chad. Some Jaguars fans are going on Twitter, going on social media, and saying they're going to beat the brakes off the Broncos. Every fan base has said that the last 11 or 12 weeks. It has not transpired. Although, if there's one thing that does impress me about the Jaguars offense, even more than the points they're scoring, if you scroll up, they're green in turnover margin, I believe. Yes, turnover margin, they're third. Look at the difference, Chad. The Broncos are -2, and they've been playing pretty good football this season overall, but the Jaguars are 10. They're tied for third, and also time of possession. So they're taking care of the ball, they're not turning it over, and they're scoring when given the chance. I'll give them credit for that.
I will agree with Liam Cohen to a point. He said, look, comparing the Broncos and the Jags, he said there's a lot of similarities between these two teams. And there are, especially when you look at these defenses, all right? Starting on the Jags side of the street, they're 10th in yards. They're 9th in yards per play. They are 10th tied, that is, in points allowed. They're first against the run, so they're not even allowing 87 yards rushing per game. But they're kind of middle of the pack as a passing defense, for what it's worth. Here's where that plus 10 comes into play, guys, because as we saw, they had 17 turnovers total. And yet 18 interceptions alone, that's double what the Broncos have. And then they also have 8 fumble recoveries, which is more than double what the Broncos have. So in total takeaways, they've more than doubled the Denver Broncos, which is what explains their plus 10. And that is not something that you can trifle with. You got to take this team very, very seriously. And as Sean Payton talked about earlier this week as well, you got to be hyper aware and your presence of mind just has to be on point. When the ball is in your hands, they're going to try and punch it out, and they're very good at it. Sacks, however, Zach, they're not so good at getting after the passer, which makes you wonder, where are these interceptions coming from? But also third down, Zach, not so good, which I like because the Broncos are improving in that respect on offense. So there are some matchup opportunities here. Meanwhile, you look at the Broncos defense, 5th in yards per game, 2nd in yards per play, 3rd in scoring, averaging 8, we'll call it just under 19 points they've allowed per game. 2nd against the run. So isn't that interesting, Zach? You have the number 1 rushing defense going against the 2nd rushing defense. Passing, the Broncos are just outside the top 10. And honestly, Zach, they'd be well inside the top 10 were it not for that 3 games they had to play without PS2. Interceptions, again, it's gotten better lately, but still they're kind of playing catch up there. The Broncos are. And they just haven't had a lot of forced fumbles, let alone the opportunity to fall on the ball and recover one. So that takeaway thing remains, Zach, kind of the sore thumb, right? Sticks out pretty obviously. But here comes the calling card right here, baby. 58 sacks, first. Third down, first. Red zone, first. So Trevor Lawrence and Jags fans are feeling their oats. Let him, because he hasn't seen anything quite like this yet.
This is what I was talking about a few minutes ago with getting too big for their britches, Chad. I mean, the similarities to the Broncos, let's pump the brakes. They do two things good on defense. They can stop the run and they can force turnovers. But the real stats that matter, getting after the quarterback, they're 25th. Third down, they're 26th. Red zone, they're 16th. Look at the Broncos in comparison. First, and first. Those are the metrics that really matter. And at the end of the day, the Broncos have a clear advantage on defense.
All right. Special teams. I mean, you got Marvin Mims keeping you in the top 5 there with the punt return. Everything else is kind of middle of the pack to not so good. The Broncos are one of those teams that are still trying to get their act together relative to the new kickoff rules. Whereas the Jaguars, they're even better than the Broncos returning punts. They're second best in covering punts. So that'll be interesting to see what side gives there. Is it Marvin Mims and his dynamic return ability, or the Jags being able to cover things up really well? And then also they have a great return. So this is what it had been in the past. You had Marvin Mims, because of the former kickoff rules, top 5 in return on both punt and kick. They've got that down packed, even with Zach, the new kickoff return rules. And then, of course, field goal percentage is pretty dang close, but even 2.2% separates 19th from the Broncos at 15th. But look at this, Zach. You have the 2 most penalized teams going head-to-head. The Broncos have been now 31st for a couple of weeks straight. They have been doing a better job since the bye of cutting down the number of penalties per game. But, Zach, the Jags are even worse in terms of penalties. So get ready, I think, to see a lot of yellow laundry.
Yeah, this game's going to take about 6 hours to complete, so that should be pretty fun, Chad. I think Sean Hockley is the one officiating the game, and the Broncos are 2-1 with Hockley officiating at Mile High Stadium. So we'll see what happens. But the Broncos, I say it every week, and I'll say it again, if they want to be a serious, legitimate Super Bowl threat, they have to clean up the penalties. Looking at you, 21.
No doubt about it. No doubt. All right, guys, real quick before we come off of this here, I just want to look at that. Washington's averaging 17 yards per punt return. That's insane. And Mims right behind him. Real quick, I wanted to see, sacks. So they have an interior defensive lineman leading the team in sacks, Zach. And he's, by the way, Hines Allen.
He's a beast.
He's injured. He went from DNP yesterday to limited today. So it's looking like he's going to play, but he's not 100%. Let's see. Interceptions. Lloyd leads them with 5. That's crazy, man. He was a guy I wanted so badly in the draft, man. Real quick, let's see. Receiving yards. Look, Zach, with 3 games to go, Sutton's only 114 yards away from his second straight 1,000-yard season and the third of his career. He'll get it. Their leader is Thomas with 601. Etienne is only 50 yards away from a 1,000-yard season.
Good running back.
Lawrence has only 46 fewer passing yards than Bo Nix. So there you have it, guys. There is your head-to-head comparison. Broncos versus Jaguars. And as you can see from those stats, guys, there is absolutely a reason why the Jags are a 10-win team already. Brad Murdoch, good to see you, big dog. Thank you for the super chat and for being a dear member. He's saying, shout out to everyone. Glad to see most of the players are relatively healthy going into this game. We got this. Go Broncos, 13-2. Yeah, Zach, real quick practice report today. The following players were full participants: Pat Bryant, RJ Harvey, Mike McGlinchey, Marvin Mims, Karine Reed, Luke Wattenberg. Limited were John Franklin Myers and Ben Powers. Powers is coming off of IR this week, trust. And then Justin Sternadzak, 2 days in a row, DNP, has not participated. So it's pretty safe to assume, in all likelihood, he is not going to play. Yeah, I know what you're talking about there, Scott. I didn't realize when I changed that earlier today, I was doing it for the email. I was hoping it would. I didn't realize it would also reflect on YouTube. I'll fix that when we get off. All right, Brad, thank you. But by the way, so Zach, your thoughts here for Brad.
Well, fortunately, the Broncos are going to probably get Karine Reed back. They designated him to return from IR, so they lose a linebacker in Sternad. They might get one back in Reed. Should be no big deal. players we didn't talk about briefly, Chad, in the head-to-head. They do have Jacoby Myers, who they traded for, and Sean Payton talked about him being a receiving threat they're going to have to worry about. And everyone's old friend, Tim Patrick, now plays for the Jaguars, and he is pumped. Let me tell you, this is a revenge game for Tim Patrick, so the Broncos are going to have to guard against him as well. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, much love and respect, buddy. It's great to see you. You know who else it's great to see? Our friend Keith Brugman in the hizzy saying, hoping the change from Brandon Jones to PJ Locke still allows Talanoa Hufanga to play loose. Thoughts? Yeah, I don't think it will change much, Keith, just because, PJ Locke is an experienced guy. He started all those games last year and started quite a few in 2023. So is he quite as reliable? I think where you worry a little bit, and this is his point here, Zach, about the difference between a Jones and a Locke is just Jones seems to be a lot more always in position, like the mental side of things, between the ears stuff. So do you suppose that's going to change Hufanga?
It's a good question, Keith. I would assume that it would have the opposite effect, unfortunately, that not having the steady Eddie Brandon Jones out there and going, downgrading a little bit to PJ Locke, it would make Hufanga's responsibilities grow, and it would allow him to, I don't know, not play as loose and not play as free rangey, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Again, I think they're going to get after Trevor Lawrence to the extent where whether you have Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, Devon Key, or Delarian Turner-Yell, it's not going to matter who's at safety because the Broncos defense is going to be that dominant.
And yeah, guys, I mean, William, I see you as a member going, there's a Discord. Yeah, buddy. I'm dropping the link. It's in the description of the video, but I'll drop the link in the chat as well. So come join us. We want to see each and everybody that's in our community in that Discord. It's a great place that we can hang and become even more close-knit Broncos family here. George Fox, good to see you, bud. Guys, this is the best pod for Broncos football, even in the bad years. Thanks for all your team. That gives Broncos country, Broncos for life, MHH for life. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Thank you, George. Honestly, Zach, it's nice to finally be, talking about a winning product after all those years, but I don't know. It's hard. I can't necessarily say in terms of what we do that doing what we do in the face of a winning team versus a losing team. It's no different to me. Like, I have had so much fun in both instances. I'm just happy, Zach, for fans who were so patient, so long suffering, wandering the desert, right? Finally, an oasis. Russell will. Oh, turns out to be a mirage. Dat gum. Keep trudging through that freaking desert, and then all of a sudden Sean Payton comes, and here we are. So, but thank you for being there, George, and the reminder, guys, smash the like button.
Yeah, I agree with that. Through thick and thin, good times and bad, mostly bad in the last decade, you guys have been there and made this a blast for us, and it is more fun in a winning season because the attitude is so much better. I remember people like Michaela, for example, who was you mentioned Russell Wilson in that era, Chad. Michaela was so down on the Broncos before they drafted Bo Nix. She had no hope left. And now the whole fan base is energized. So I love that for you guys.
I remember the days of trying to elevate the corpse of Drew Lock and really just hold on as long as we could to the possibility of him being a thing. And then, I mean, how many iterations of quarterback did we go through post Drew? I guess not that many. Teddy, Russ, Bo. So there weren't too many quarterbacks that bridged between Drew Lock and Bo Nix. But Ronk, what's up, bud? He said, a dear member and a longtime superstar and supporter, saying, hit those thumbs up and subscribe to the MHH podcast on YouTube. Become a Mount Rushmore supporter member and join the MHH podcast Discord. Go Bo Broncos. There's a reason why we call him, Zach, the mayor of MHH.
That's right. He's campaigning with our best interest in mind. Thank you, Michael, so much as always.
I'm going to grab a few comments from the members here, or like topics. Sue, let's see. She's a little bit nervous about the Jags, and you should be. I mean, it's a 10-win team. They're a legit force to be reckoned with, but it's nothing particularly novel or unique that the Broncos haven't seen up to this point, other than, Zach, that rushing defense, man, it's a little scary.
Travis Etienne from the Jaguars. I don't know if you were mentioning the Broncos running game or the Jaguars running game, but if you're talking about the Jaguars, Etienne is similar to Josh Jacobs in that he can catch, he can run. He's one of the better backs in the NFL. So they're going to have to really guard against that on Sunday. It starts with that up front on both offense and defense, stopping the run and getting the running game going.
Oh, that's your fraternity background, Sam Bam. Cool, dude. Really cool. Pearl wants to know, are you doing a pod during and after the Christmas game, Chad? After the game, yes, for sure. But it's totally voluntary. I will be going live. I'm guessing Zach's probably going to be there. So
I will be there.
We will be there. Now, if it was a Thursday pod and it was Christmas, but no game or whatever, or a Sunday pod, whatever, maybe. But what am I trying to say? If it was just a normal Thursday that Christmas was on, we probably wouldn't be podcasting. We'd take it off. But since the Broncos are playing, there's going to be we have to work. So we look forward to it, though. It doesn't feel like work. You know, our families that would prefer us an extra hour that day. But at the end, my wife and my kids are great about what I do. So, it'll be fine here. But we're looking forward to it.
It's the gut reaction. Those are the most fun pods that we do around here. So we're going to be here, Pearl, absolutely recapping the Broncos win over the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
No doubt about it. Let me see what Scott's. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let me see here. Sentinel Supreme. Also, Sentinel Supreme. I'm pretty sure I saw you in the Discord, right? ATM at the moment ranked the AFC playoff teams from least worried to most worried. All right, Zach, let me pull up the playoff picture.
I could just tell you top of my head, the most worried, I guess, would be like Buffalo, only because Allen is the most experienced quarterback left in the fold. And also the Chargers I mentioned. Everyone, we're waiting for the Chargers to charge, and they probably will. But they have Bo Nix's number. They beat the Broncos this season. I wouldn't count on it as an automatic win for the Broncos in the playoffs.
Yeah, so just so we have some scratch and sniff, I've been saying it for about a week now. I agree with Zach, by the way. Bills are the team that worries me the most. So here's the order I will go. I'm going to go Bills, Chargers, Texans by way of the teams that worry me for the Broncos. Steelers, Patriots, Steelers, Jags. That's a very loose kind of at the moment for me, Zach. And then the teams in the hunt, the Colts are still in this. If they can make some of that Phillip Rivers juju actually work for them, they still have a chance, but they might need some help. And then the Ravens are still alive, guys. So we can't count those two teams out. Everyone else has been eliminated, Zach.
They would kind of scare me. I would not want to face Lamar and Derrick Henry if they somehow make it and come to Mile High. I think the Broncos can beat them, but they blew out Denver last season. And you mentioned the Steelers, Chad. We'll know Sunday what the Jags are made of, but right now I'm a little more terrified of Jacksonville than I am Pittsburgh. I'm not scared of 50-year-old Aaron Rodgers and a Steelers defense that's not what it used to be under Mike Tomlin.
Sentinel also bringing up here, why do we not want J.K. Dobbins back? The dude's been amazing. Re-sign him. I agree 100%. And just like
it's only a matter of sorry, Chad.
No, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just thinking out loud. It's only a matter of time, Sentinel, before he gets hurt again. We all love JK, and that was the rap on him with the Chargers and the Ravens, for that matter. He's one of the best running backs in the league when he's healthy, but he's guaranteed to get hurt every year. Guaranteed.
So that doesn't mean the Broncos don't want him. That just means that if you throw a contract at him, you're not paying. Even though when he's on the field, Zach, he's one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You just can't pay him like that because you can't trust he's going to be there. Unfortunately, that's the one thing you can count on with JK. He's not going to finish a season, or he'll at least miss significant time. But when Zach, we were getting asked in September and October, when he's out there, number 2 in the NFL in rushing, number 3 in rushing, like, Broncos need to get him paid. It's like, well, let's wait till December and see. And he didn't even make it to December. And that's why we were saying, Zach, wait till December. Then maybe the Broncos actually start looking at it, because they're in the same mindset as we are, which is we would love for him to be the guy. We love what he does when he's on the field. Even they not convinced that he can go the whole distance. So I do think, Zach, he'll be back next year. I just think instead of coming back on a multi-year deal, he'll come back on another 1 year and another 1 year maybe type situation. But he is amazing. Just like we told you before the season started, got lost in the shuffle in the whole conversation and in the offseason. Like, people were even advocating Nick Chubb. Broncos should sign Chubb instead of go out and get JK. But the injury bug, all that notwithstanding, but he had the second highest career rushing average from all running backs since he entered the league in 2020. It's just a matter of when he's on the field.
Exactly. I see people in the comments saying the injury wasn't his fault, and that's true. It was a hip drop tackle, but he was hurt nonetheless, and he's missing the season nonetheless, and that's been the wrap on JK. So I do agree with Chad. I think he'll be back on a one-year deal. They're going to approach it a lot like they approached Javonte. If you want to accept this prove-it deal, here you go. If not, well, good luck the rest of the way.
Exactly, and they're committed to RJ. RJ's a 4-year kind of commitment, and what they're seeing from RJ since JK's been down is that they'd rather have them both in a perfect world, but they can more than get by with RJ as the guy. So that'll go into how they negotiate with JK. But based on the things he was saying before he got hurt and just how he had nestled into the Denver and the Bronco cultural thing, he wants to stay in Denver. So I think he comes back again next year. I can't forecast exactly what that's going to look like. If it's going to be before March, if it's going to be in March, if it's going to be, well, let's see what kind of offers you get and you end up signing him again in June like last year. We'll see. But Michaela brings up a good point here, Zach, about Cody Schrader, the timing of him being signed, because the Broncos almost had a crack at him a couple weeks ago when the Texans claimed him on waivers, but the Texans were ahead of the Broncos. According to Sean Payton, they were going to claim Schrader then if he made it to him, but the Texans claimed him. Then the Texans waived him, so they ended up bringing him in. And he's like, look, it has nothing to do with RJ Harvey and the ribs, just so you guys know. But could it be this, Zach, that he was brought in because he spent so much time with the Jags? It's pretty conspicuous timing, right?
Yeah, it's not the first time the Broncos have done this either. And just to put a bow on the JK thing, it might not be the last we've even seen of him this season. We're talking about 2026, but as we mentioned earlier in the pod tonight, Chad, there's a chance he could come back if the Broncos go far enough. But Schrader, not only did he play for Jacksonville, you're absolutely right, Michaela, for the intel there, he also just got released from Houston. And I know the Broncos played Houston already, but they might meet again in the postseason. And Sean Payton's all about scouting his opponents and trying to gain a competitive advantage. That's one way to do it.
No doubt. Ralph says, do you think Powers can increase RJ's average run by a yard or two per carry? I just think that overall, he's a significant upgrade. Like Palczewski, hey, tip your cap to him. He hung in there. He's more of like a tackle guy playing guard, but he just doesn't open things up on his side for the second level. You'll see that with Ben Powers. Like, there's a reason why they keep running over and over and over again behind Quinn Miners. And it's not just because Miners is so good, but because they were getting zero push from Palczewski. And I think Palczewski, Zach, started out pretty strong that first 3 or 4 games after Matt Pert. I mean, Pert only played the one game, but so let's say week 7 through the Texans game. The Texans game is when I really started to feel like actually Palczewski was a liability. And even if you don't want to agree with me or go as far as to say he's a liability, I think it's safe to say he's the weak link on the offensive line. So it's good getting Powers back.
Yeah, I mean, still, he was the starter for a reason, so it's it can't hurt the offense getting their starter back. But let's also keep in mind, Ralph, Harvey ran behind Powers this season. It wasn't Palczewski starting the entire year. I'm looking at RJ's numbers. He's averaging 3.8 yards a carry. So to answer your question, I think jumping up by 2 yards is a little unrealistic. If Powers' reinsertion into the lineup can get him over 4 yards a carry, that would be a job well done.
No doubt about it. But excellent question. Shout out to the Brace Girdle clan. Todd Ostendorf, shoot, I wish we could have brought in Jacobs. That guy kills us every time. Yeah, we finally got one on him, though. He can no longer walk around saying I'm undefeated against the Broncos. But Sean Payton coveted Josh Jacobs. That we know, Zach.
Before he even took the job, I think when he was still working at Fox, he was trying to get Jacobs over to Denver as well. Yeah, he's the Broncos killer, and let's give him credit as well. The catch he made over Dre Greenlaw in coverage, he is a elite running back. I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs.
Same here, man. All right, let me see here. One last Well, let's do this, Zach. You go through our messages for the night, and then we'll take one last look at the chat while you're doing that.
Another tremendous episode, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important, as always, that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans, just like Phil and just like you and everyone else.
Phil, buddy, thanks for reminding or making mention that we missed you. Every once in a blue moon, something slips through. So thanks for letting us know, bud. And thanks for your support, pal. He says, good evening, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. I'm ordering my Overdogs t-shirt. Got to get on board. Merry Christmas, guys. Buckham MHH for life, Broncos for life.
Merry Christmas, Phil.
For what it's worth, pal, I've got my graphics guy working on a t-shirt right now, hoping to be able to have that launched here on the merch store within the next 24 hours or so. So stay tuned for that. And Merry Christmas right back at you. We're not talking about the Underdogs, Zach. We're talking Overdogs.
And we'll see you guys multiple times before Christmas and actually on Christmas for the gut reaction. So we'll tell you then, but I'll tell you now, Todd, thank you so much. Or Phil, thank you so much.
A Mile High salute. Special shout out to the phenomenal Super Chat Superstars, supporters, and dear members, literally helping us keep the lights on, like the Duchess with one of the most generous Super Chats of the year right here. And it's not the first time she's been that generous with an individual Super Chat, as I mentioned earlier. So love you so much, Michaela. Thank you. And Black's throwing down a membership in the chat, to gifting a membership. I'm pretty sure it's Eric Holt, Sam Bam, multiple supers, Papa Bear, Drew, Donald, the Brace Girdle Clan. Shout out. I'm sure we're on the big screen. Hi, everybody. Shannon, George Fox, Tucson Phil, and Brad Murdoch. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And Zach and I will see you Sunday for the gut reaction. So before Christmas, we've got gut reaction. We've got Monday aftermath, then Christmas. Saturday, my son has a basketball tournament. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about Broncos Book Club. So stay tuned. I'll let you know on the YouTube community and on my Twitter account. So just keep an eye out on that, because we are reading. This is the new book. We're done with Son of Bum. So we're reading Tales from the Broncos Sideline by Andrew Mason. It's an easy read too. And it's a fun read. And every word is Bronco relevant. Unlike, for example, Son of Bum, where you're reading some of his non-Bronco stuff. But anyway, I'll let you guys know what I'm going to do about Saturday and rescheduling Broncos Book Club. So stay tuned for that. But everybody, have a great weekend. If I don't see you till Sunday, love you.
Have a great weekend is right. We'll see you Sunday for the gut reaction. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.